Hello everyone. Okay, so we've currently, I'll just load up the Cubase project here. We've currently got we've added our chords, we've added in our string section, we've added a rhythm section, or well, the strings, but with a specific rhythm going on. We've made sure we've quantized all this. We've then added a drum section as well. I showed you how to click in those drums. I didn't show you last time how to play in those drums, so I'm just going to quickly, for those of you who maybe want to know how to play in those drums, again, we can lose the layering. Okay, so I'm actually going to play these drums in live. So here's my kick. Sorry. There's my kick, snare, like so, and my hi-hat. Okay. I'm just going to play live. I'm going to play kick drum first. Here we go. Okay, that's my kick drum. If I double click, okay, and I can go in and quantize it. Okay, so the usual things we do, go in and quantize, pressing that little quantize button there, and I'm just going to quickly go and do a snare. Okay, I can go in there, and again, just going in and quantizing with a little button there, like so. And I'm now going to go in and add some hi-hat. Okay, and go in again, and you'll notice that once you do one thing on Cubase, you kind of have to do the same thing lots. Okay, so go in and then kind of do the quantizing stuff. I'm now going to add some cymbals. Here we go, some crash cymbals. So have a listen. Okay, and again, double click. We go in and we make sure we go onto that and press apply quantize, and it puts everything in time. Then I'm going to glue all of that together. Okay, keep on clicking until it's all glued and not any of these kind of little funny little kind of cross hatchings. Then get rid of the silence, like so. And there we go. So my clicked in drum part, which again was a little bit simpler. Oh, whoops-a-daisy. So I'll just quickly load that down there. So here's my drums. Simple drums. Okay. If I just move that back again. Here's my live played drums. Still quite similar, but just a little bit more complicated. So I'll keep it on those drums. Just get rid of that track. So that's the kind of drum thing. So that's how you do live drums. You just do layers, one bit, then add another bit, then another bit. Make sure you quantize it each time, get rid of the silence, and hey, there you go, a nice drum beat. We're now going to do some tune, a bit of melody. Okay? Now, with melody, I need to be aware what notes I need to be playing in the chord. So if I know that that's my chord sequence and I know what notes you can be playing, I need to kind of know where I'm kind of going. Now, because we're in C, any of the white notes are going to work. Okay, because C, D, E, F, G, and A and B all work. So any of those notes will sound okay. Some will sound better than others, but I'm going to do a little bit of kind of melody kind of stuff, and I'll see what it sounds like. A lot of the time you just need to use your ears. If it sounds right, it probably is right. But I am going to start on the note E. So I'm going to start on the note E, which is one of the notes of our chord of C major. So, and then I'm just going to make something up from there, what's called improvise. So I'm going to make something up and see what it sounds like. Here we go. Okay. Now, I was okay at the beginning, but I kind of made a few mistakes and things near the end. Go in. Okay, the usual thing. Go in. You'll notice I keep on clicking around everything and just ever so slightly moving them. Sometimes the keyboard, everything's just, there's what's called a latency, which is a little delay from when you press your keyboard note and when it gets picked up. And you'll notice that all of my notes are all kind of identically offbeat. Now, that's not me being out of time, that's just sometimes you just want to drag them a little bit, and you'll notice that if I drag them that a little bit, the rest of them, they're already quite in time. So when I quantize, it just makes sure that they're perfectly in time. So I'm just going to quantize that, put them in time. If I look near the end of this kind of melody section that I've just done, it doesn't sound quite as good later on. Have a listen. Yeah, it's okay until we kind of hit the last 3 bars, because I kind of didn't really do anything particularly interesting. So I'm going to delete those 3 bars. Okay, just drag around and press the delete key. Okay, and then try again. Now you'll notice that now there's a little bit of spare space, so I can listen and then play. So the first bit was fine, so I've kept it. Get rid of the silence, it's quantized, but I'll just try and do the ending a little bit better. Knowing that the chord of D, I need to really be on a D, an F or an A, because that's the notes of the chord of D, and that any of those 3 notes as a starter will work. That's better. So, double click. Go in, move everything that little bit. Okay, now your keyboard might not have that little time delay, but mine does today. So if I go on here, quantize, make everything in nicely in time, go off, glue together, like so, get rid of the silence, turn the click off, go back to the beginning, let's have a listen to it. Oh, file, save as, imagine it's next day. Obviously, I've done this 4 times, but for you it might be 4 different weeks. Save, and let's have a listen to our progress. Cool. Okay. Now, say that is as far as we get, because I'd be really happy if it's got chords, it's got strings, it's got rhythm, it's got a melody, it's got a drum beat, it's got some synthesizer sounds, it sounds a bit like a news theme, well, it sounds quite a lot like a news theme, quite a happy news theme, but that's not a bad thing. Say that's as far as you got. What would you do with it then? Well, we've saved it, but then what we need to do is we need to save this as an MP3. So we need to save it as an audio file, so that audio file can be sent to me, and so that you can listen to it and I can listen to it away from school. Okay, because you're going to be assessing some of this work, okay, your own and other people's. All right. So if we go into this, I'm just going to quickly this area up here. Now this is what's called your left and right locators. Okay. Now at the moment they're both set at 1. Which is why those numbers are both 1. Okay. Now, if I was going to export something, so take it from Cubase and load it into something else, Okay, like a media player, yeah, like Windows Media Player or iTunes or something. I want to convert it into a format that any program can play it. At the moment, it's in a Cubase format, so only Cubase will open this file as it is. So you want to find a way of converting it into an audio file, which anything can open and anything can listen to. Okay. Now I've set the left and right locators to start just before, so I've just left-clicked on one of them, and you can drag them. So it basically shades in the area just before it starts and just after it finishes. And you'll see now that the numbers have changed as well. Okay, now you can double click on those numbers, and I could click and say 1, okay, or I could say 3, and it'll then set them, or you can manually click them where you want them to be. Okay, when you've done that, and I've already saved this, you need to export. Okay, not saving as a Cubase file, but export it to something different, and it's going to export it as an audio mixdown. Okay, so we've got an audio mixdown. If we click audio mixdown, it brings us up with another box. You don't need to worry too much about this box. I'll tell you what to do. Now, in this name box here, you need to call it something. So you need to call it news theme, then your form, okay, or your music group. So if you're in 7L1, you do 7L1, or 7MU1, which is your music group. Okay, okay. So as long as I know what group it's from, and then everybody's name in your group. So for me, it would be Mr. Lubkowski and let's make and cup of coffee, because that's the only other thing that's in the study with me at the moment. So Mr. Lubkowski and cup of coffee from 7MU1, and it's their news theme. Okay, so I know whose it is, and I can therefore make sure that everyone else knows as well. I need your full names and your form group, because there's 300 people doing this, and I need to know where all my work is. Then you choose where to save it. So for me, we had it in our F drive, okay, in our, hopefully our F drive hasn't crashed. Haha, there we go. Again, sometimes things crash, and that's fine. Again, we've saved our work, so we wouldn't have lost anything, but you always need to be just aware. In news theme, and I'm going to save it in the same folder, so all my work is there. So news theme, Miss Lubkowski and cup of coffee, save. That's where we're saving it. We need it to be normally it'll say WAV file. We want it to be MPEG-1 layer 3 file, or an MP3. So we click on that. That should say 192. If it says 160, you just double click on it and go 192. Okay, don't worry about why, just make sure that says 192. At that point, none of these other boxes need to be clicked. You just need to press export. You press export, and it basically exports it. When it brings the box back up again, that doesn't mean it's not worked. Okay, you go into the area. Okay, if I just load up a window here, if I go into the F drive, and I go into my news theme, there, you'll see that it's there. Okay, my news theme is there. All right, so it's worked. I can press cancel. Okay, I can make sure I press save, and I'm done. If I go into that and I click on that and then say add to Windows Media Player list, I can hear it. Okay, and that MP3 can be emailed. Okay, which is how I want it. You would then email it to me. Okay, so you'd go into your email and you'd email it to me. Now my email address, and I'll just type it at the bottom of this so you can see it, is s.lubkowski. Okay, 1 second. It's opened for viewing, not for editing. 1 second. Let's open one that I can. There we go. Okay, so this is my email address. So s.lubkowski. Can't type there. Lubkowski at Lutterworth College rmunify.com. So that's my email address. You go into your email through your RM Unify, you would go into lutterworthcollege.com, etc., and you would therefore go attach that file to an email and send it to me. Okay? In the title of the email just needs to be the name of your file as well. So hence in this one, news theme 7MU or Mr. Lipkowski cup of coffee would be what I'd say in the subject of that email. Okay? That means that I can assess your work and then I can put it in a folder so that other people can assess your work. And you may have already done this, because I think we're probably going to have a midpoint assessment when you've maybe only got maybe the strings and maybe some of the drums in after a couple of lessons. But generally you need to do this both for your midpoint and your final assessment. Excellent. Okay, I think we are done. That hopefully means that you've made your news theme. You have a composition, and you can then be looking towards your targets and seeing, did you meet those targets? So, excellent. Next session, we'll be looking at voiceover and how you record your microphone with a voiceover. But for the moment, this is the composition part of this done, and then we're looking at putting some voiceover. Excellent. Thank you. See you later.